Hey everybody, Jonathan Cummings here from The Troubadour's Journey. What's new and exciting? Today, I'm going to be focusing on that step that's prior to planting the seed, that fertilization process of your mind, right? So if you've watched the previous videos, we've talked about the entire manifestation process. We've talked about the law of attraction, which I call the universal attribute of vibration. But today we're going to focus on what is actually happening before we plant the seed. We're going to start that right here in 15 seconds.
Don't you die with your songs telling you just sing with me.
So if you've been following along up to this point, you understand that there is a journey that happens in this process of acquiring what we want to acquire in life, becoming the type of person that we want to be in life, all of those different things. And what we're going to focus on here is how do we know what it is that we want to do in the first place? I mean, this is something that I personally have never experienced. I have known from when I was a little kid, everybody knew what I was going to be when I grew up. It was just kind of obvious. But some people are even in their 30s, 40s, 50s and later that they've retired maybe and they still really don't know what their life purpose is. Well, there's two parts of this thread, if you will. And it starts with interests and it ends in expectation. From interests to expectation. Okay? And what you want to do is you want to start getting yourself quiet, getting yourself in a place where you can kind of breathe and start listening to what is in your mind and start thinking about the things that you're interested in. You might be interested in, in cars. You might be interested in astronomy. Write that down. You might be interested in helping other people to do something. It might be a vague thought. It might be I want to enrich the lives of other people in some way. Maybe you love kids. You want to do something with a daycare, or you want to do something around children. Maybe you like old people and you want to do something to help the elderly in some way. Maybe you're interested in websites and you want to start learning how to design websites. I mean, you have to really start thinking about the things that interest you. Maybe you're interested in archaeology. Maybe it's just like I'm going through a weird gamut of things here just to show you really need to start focusing on what was it when you were a kid that you fantasized about? Was it being Indiana Jones? Right? Or, was it being it doesn't matter what it is. This has nothing to do with me. This is your journey. And start thinking about those things that interest you. And hopefully one or two or three of them, as you're reading through your list, when you're writing them down, one or two or three of them, you'll go, and, I grew a beard so I can do this. Because, when you're thinking, you have to do this to your beard when you're thinking. So you might think, I really think that this might be interesting to me, or that might be interesting to me. Now, the one thing that I don't want you to do is get too caught up on what if it's the wrong thing? What if I want to do this and it's not right? Well, you got to do something. I am going to teach you right now one of the greatest lessons that my dad ever taught. And there's about 105 of them, but this is there's about 105 of the greatest lessons he ever taught, but this is one of them. He always said, when anybody was indecisive about something, people couldn't figure out what to do, especially on the job site, because my dad was the boss. People are trying to figure out what to do, and he would go, boys, do something even if it's wrong. Do something even if it's wrong. That is my advice to you. Do something even if it's wrong. You might start off on a path and you might go down it a little ways and you might go, hold on a second, this is not the direction that I want to go. But you're only going to know that. You're only going to know that if you get so far. Then you know that and you go, I'm going to back up and I'm going to go this way, because once you traverse a certain path, only then can you reflect on the data that you've accumulated and you're saying, I'm going to go down this way. So don't get caught up on this is the absolute thing that has to be done immediately right now, that I've got to choose the right thing in my life. That's just not the case. Okay? What you want to pay attention to is when you're thinking about these things that you're doing, the journey, the path that you're going on, you want to reflect on which one of these things or which couple of these things, when you're thinking about them and when you're visualizing on them, makes you resonate to a certain frequency. It makes you go, yeah, this feels really good doing this. Or I can see myself when I get to a certain point down this journey, this is going to be something that I really want to do. Start thinking about the things that make you feel that way. It doesn't have to be the end all be all. You're just trying things out and you're going, yeah, this feels pretty good. Maybe I really don't want to work with kids. Maybe I want to work with young adults. Maybe I really don't want to be into archaeology. Maybe what I really want to do is study this other science or advance myself in this other way. Maybe I really don't want to earn $1 million. Really what I want to do is give $1 million away. See, you might find yourself going down these journeys, and as you reflect on them, you'll figure out what it is that you really want to do as your purpose in life right now. It doesn't have to be the end all be all. Most people don't know the end all be all. It's your purpose in life right now. It could change 10 years from now. It could change 5 years from now. Okay? But in order to understand what those things are, you have to do something, even if it's wrong. Only by taking action can you realize this is not the right thing to do. I need to go back and do this other thing. Or this feels pretty good. I'm going to keep doing this. Or this is not getting me to my goal that I want to get on. I need to go back and go this other way. That's going to get me closer to my goal. Or that's not my goal. What am I thinking? I want to do this. So you have to do something. You have to take some kind of action towards some types of goals. Maybe you take some classes in IT, and then you realize, man, I don't want to do IT. I know someone. She got her entire nursing degree while she was running businesses at the same time, then got to the end of that stuff right before her clinicals and says, I don't want to be a nurse. I've decided I don't want to do this. And now she's in another field where she's helping lots of people, and it worked out for her because now she knows that's not what she wanted to do. So don't get caught up in, I have to make the exact right decision. But once you do start resonating with something, start thinking about it all the time, visualizing it all the time. That's the way you fertilize the soil of the mind, by thinking about it and visualizing it and thinking about it. And as you think about it, you go, yeah, this is going to be great. And then one day, probably not very long in the future, you'll go, I'm going to do this. That action, I'm going to make this happen right now. That is planting the seed. That feeling of absolution, this is what I'm going to do. That is planting the seed. Now, like I say, that seed might grow and you might decide to plant some other seed a little bit later, but you will get to a point where you're ready to make a decision on something. And once that seed is planted, then you start using the universal attribute of vibration. You start watering the seed. We've talked about that. We're going to get into that into detail. You start giving sunlight to the seed. We've talked about that. We're going to get into that in more detail. And you start growing this thing which is in your mind. Okay? So please subscribe to this channel. Please hit the like button. I want to help as many people as I can as they're trying to figure out the different nuances of these things. Believe me, in the future, we're going to get into the 4 life sciences, neuro-linguistic programming, a universal attribute of vibration, which many people call the law of attraction, quantum physics, and meditation. But these are kind of the prerequisites, sort of setting ourselves up to where we're going to have success once we get into those different areas. I hope you liked this video. I hope you've learned something from it. I hope you have a few more ideas on maybe what you want to do. Please like, please subscribe, and don't die with your song still in you.